It has been 1 full year since I started using the Ordinary's Lash and Brow Serum to regrow my lashes and fill some gaps with my eyebrows. And I have a really good review and update on what it's like after 1 year of using these. So for last year, I used 2 of these. And I'm going to tell you why I think you should use 3 and not 2 like I experimented with. My first bottle I used as directed 2 times a day. So once in the morning, once at night. I applied it on my brows, my lashes. It's pretty simple and it sinks right into your skin. It doesn't interfere with any of your cosmetics if you use mascara. And it really worked well. It took about 4.5 months to finish a bottle, and it wasn't until maybe 9 weeks to see the major brow growth. With eyelashes, it started within 2 weeks, and at about a month to 2 months, so 4 to 8 weeks, it was the maximum eye growth, and that's with doing this twice a day. What I did with the second bottle is I decided to go in using it only 1 time a day. I just did it at night, and I noticed the maintenance was still there, but my lashes and brows started falling out like they normally used to. With the twice a day, the lashes and brows stayed really strong and didn't fall out so easily. I end up like rubbing my eyes sometimes and I'll notice fallout. When I was using it twice a day, that fallout was way less. And when I switched to once a day, it just went really back to the way it was before. And the cost for these is now $14.90 for 1 bottle. It used to be $14.50 a year ago. So the prices are going up a little bit and it's not too bad. You can get these on the website for that price. You can get them at Ulta for the same price and also Sephora. And if you go to the website for The Ordinary, you can get a duo pack. They're exactly the same. There's just a silver packaging and a white packaging. You can tear it off and give one to someone else if you want to, or keep them for yourself. And the cost for these on the website is $20.30 for 2. It's such a good deal. Obviously, it's way cheaper if you get the duo pack. It's almost $30 for 2 separate ones. And if you have a cat, they love this wrapping, so watch out for that because mine just ate this up. What the heck? The one thing I really didn't like about my second bottle is that the ends were really frayed. I don't know if you can see this. Hopefully you can see this. The ends were like totally frayed, and I was being really stubborn and didn't switch it out to the original bottle. But I recommend if you get one that has crazy frayed ends, either return it and get a new bottle, or if you have an original one, just use the one you had before, because it really makes a difference when you're applying it to your lash and brows, so it doesn't like spread out over your lid. And that was one of the things I noticed when I was talking about this last year, is when I went a little bit past my upper lash area, the hair started growing up onto my eyelid, which I don't normally have eyelashes growing up over there. Basically, it stays put, but if you're spreading it out too quickly, you might get it into some areas where lashes are growing, like in my inner area. I had extra lashes growing, which I loved, but it got a little bit too much past, like, I think it's the waterline, like right at the corner of your eye. So you might want to make sure that either you trim it if it's frayed, because it just keeps getting worse, or switch it out with one that doesn't have the frayed ends like that. The other thing about this is it's peptide based, and I feel really comfortable with the Ordinary products, so that's why I went with their product instead of one of the other, I think there's like Grand Lashes or something like that. I can't remember the brands at the moment, but you probably see them a lot. They're very pricey. Apparently they work really well, but there's some side effects that I really didn't want to get into. So that being said, there are 3 serum options that I found on the market. There's the hormone based, which I mentioned that they tend to discolor the skin, maybe like darken it a little bit, and also the iris of your eye, which would make your eyes a little bit more brown or darker in the brown area. I don't want that to happen. So there's also the botanical based, which are fine. I just haven't tried any at the moment, but I really felt more comfortable using this one, which is peptide based. It has 11 active ingredients, 4 peptides, and it does have some botanical ingredients included. For new growth this past year, I was able to maintain the growth that came out at the very top middle part here. There were some new brows that came in, they grew really long and they darkened. Some of the other brows that grew in stayed orange and probably like a very fair light brown tone that just isn't dark enough to match the rest of my eyebrows. You really can't see it that well, but they didn't darken like the ones that were here. So it's not very consistent what it's doing. Some new brow growth, but stayed very fair tone. The ones at the very end where it's very sparse here, I was hoping it would thicken and more would come in, but it didn't. Nothing extraordinary happened as far as like this kind of thinned out patch at the end and in the middle. A couple of hairs came in. That was about it. They didn't thicken much. My right eyebrow had the most growth, and I honestly think it's because I start with the right side and I have more product on the wand when I start with the right side and then less when I spread it out to the left side. So what I've been doing is making sure I dip in again and add the same amount of product to the left. So it actually really matters how much you're adding and making sure that it's getting all throughout the brow areas that are sparse. My lashes generally are just very normal. There's nothing extraordinary about them. And I had a little bit of a gap right above my left eye area, and this filled out that gap. And even with just using the once a day, it still kept those lashes growing in that area. So I didn't have that gap anymore, which I love. Normally my lashes are the most thick and long right in the middle here, but I'm getting a bit more spread out throughout my upper eyelid area. I noticed that because I switched to this mascara that has this like pointy wand to it. It's a Lancome Hypnose Doll Lashes, and I was able to get into the corner. I saw the lifting of those tiny little lashes, which are not normally there. So that was pretty exciting that I noticed that it did get more growth as far as my lashes are concerned, and also at the end, which I love. I want like a thicker look right at the end here instead of just right in the middle. So my score for this is going to be an 8 out of 10 for my brows and a 9 out of 10 for my lashes. The Ordinary also has the multi-peptide serum for hair density. The consistency is very different than the one for the lashes. This is very watery, and the lash serum is much more of a gel. They're very similar as far as ingredients, but I don't really feel comfortable putting this on my lash area because it would spread so easily, and it's just almost like a water. If you have tried it, let me know in the comments below. I'm very curious, but I'm gonna stick with the actual serum for lash and brows just because it has that like thicker gel consistency and it kind of stays put a lot easier. So if you have tried this or any other lash serum, please let me know in the comments below. I know there's one from e.l.f. I'm very curious about. Similar idea where it doesn't have the hormones, it has like a serum and I think botanical base. I'm a bit curious about how that goes, and the price is really good. So if you've tried that or this one or any other, please let me know what you think. If you're trying the multi-peptide serum for hair density, so far I'm really loving it, and I'm going to have a review coming up very soon. It does take a long time to regrow hair, so it's a bit of a process. It's not like that quick. So it's been like an ongoing thing that I've been filming. So if you're curious about that, stay tuned because that's coming up pretty soon.